Today I'm going to tell you why FAU coach Lane Kiffin calls Kyler Murray a problem. And all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. So today I'm going to tell you why Lane Kiffin called Kyler Murray a problem and why he doesn't think that Kyler Murray not having a bunch of starts is really a big deal and makes it even harder to game plan for him. But first, we got to talk about Robert Smith, Fox Sports analyst Robert Smith, Ohio State running back Robert Smith, because the analyst did what analysts do, which is give their prognostications, their predictions for who they think is going to make the college football playoff. Now, most folks pick Clemson, okay, cool. Alabama, okay, cool. Ohio State, fine. Penn State, sure, cool. Washington, I guess. And most of those you can make a good argument for, and I get those are good picks depending on where you're from, what you watch, who you're into. But Robert Smith basically followed up on Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk Herbstreit, who by many accounts is the most well-known college football analyst ever, picked Texas as his surprise football team of 2018. And this goes right along with the Texas is back narrative that we're so used to hearing about. And Robert Smith fell into this trap is all I can think, because he just won the Joey Galloway Award for the most ridiculous prediction of the season. But they're predictions. I made predictions. You make predictions. This one just feels like out of left field. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But I don't get the coaches poll ranking Texas number 21 or the AP poll ranking Texas number 23, because Texas has been back, or supposed to have been back, for 10 years, man. It's been since 2009 since Texas was even relevant, let alone back. And now we're talking about Tom Herman in year 2. Remember, this Tom Herman program, his first year, lost 51-41 to a bad Maryland football team. The 2017 Terrapins finished the season 4-8. That's a bad football team that Texas lost to. And they got to open the season against those guys. But I guess if you're Robert Smith and you want to make a splash and you want to do something that's a little off, you go with Texas. But my goodness, dude, I wouldn't have gone with Texas. I mean, if you're just going to pick a name out of the hat, why not go with Kansas? You know, sure. I mean, if we're just pulling names out of our rears here, why not just go with Kansas, Kansas State, or I don't know, Purdue? You know, what are we, Western Kentucky, Texas? Get out of here with Texas, man. Texas is not going to make the college football playoff in 2018. Now, the next thing we got to talk about is the wide receiving core for Oklahoma ahead of the FAU game. We know what we have in CeeDee Lamb and Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown averaged 19.2 yards per catch, over 1,000 yards receiving last year, 57 catches. Probably the fastest player in college football. CeeDee Lamb, possession receiver who can go up and get the football. There was one play that he made during the Rose Bowl where it looked to me like Baker just threw the ball away, and then CeeDee Lamb, Antoine savaged it. Just went 6 feet in the air to go get the ball, come down with it. We know that those guys are going to be opposite each other in whatever formation Lincoln Riley decides to put out there. But now, what's the third receiver going to look like? Is the third guy going to be the slot? I mean, you can make an argument for Nick Basquin. You can make an argument for Michael Jones, who, by the way, averaged more yards per catch than Hollywood Brown, 19.4 versus 19.2. Michael Jones might be the most talented slot receiver there, but Drake Stoops has been coming on. Lincoln Riley did not rule out seeing some Drake Stoops at the slot position. Other guys like Jalen Robinson, Jaqualan Crawford, you got to figure are still in the mix. But I think the third spot is actually just going to be Grant Calcaterra, who's going to start at tight end in place of Mark Andrews. This is a guy who had 10 catches for 162 yards last year. He looks smoother. He looks easier with the ball in his hands. I know that Lee Morris is kind of there, and Lincoln Riley said Monday that Carson Meyer is the starter at H-back. But I think the third option in this offense this season is going to be Grant Calcaterra. And I think that he's a good pick to go over 500 yards receiving. I think he's a good pick to go over 40 catches this year. I just think that Grant Calcaterra is going to present so many problems for linebackers and safeties in the middle of the field. And Kyler Murray is going to have opportunities against FAU to abuse that matchup. And he's really going to be able to abuse that matchup in a big way because the offensive line in front of him is really good. And Lincoln Riley has said this, and he said it Monday, The offensive line is the key to his offense this year because there's so much experience there. People don't really understand, I think, how much experience is on this offensive line. Both Bobby Evans and Ben Powers have more than 22 starts, but Drew Samia has 34 and he's played in 38 games. I mean, that's just a ton of experience. No matter who you want to start opposite Bobby Evans at tackle, and we think it's going to be Cody Ford, and the most intriguing battle is still center, where you have a guy in Creed Humphrey who looks to be the most talented and have the most upside, and a guy like Jonathan Alvarez who seems to be just intelligent about playing center. So you're really having to make a decision between, upside and your experience, and it feels like either one of those guys is going to be good. They're just going to be good in a different way. And that leads me to the topic of the depth chart. We thought we would see a depth chart on Monday, myself included. I wanted to see a depth chart, but Lincoln Riley just basically put it out there. Says we still have so many battles out there that we basically could put or at most positions because he's still got this battle at center. There's apparently still a battle going on between Caleb Kelly and Curtis Bolton to see who's going to be the other every down linebacker beside Kenneth Murray Jr. And still don't know what you have at either safety positions because those guys are still duking it out to see who's the starter against Florida Atlantic. But there's depth at corner. Everybody keeps saying that this is the year the defensive line turns the corner with Neville Gallimore and Amani Bledsoe and Kenneth Mann and those guys. I would really love to see that. And they're going to have opportunities to prove it against an FAU team that's just wide open, sideline to sideline, and has the best running back in the country that nobody is talking about in Devin Singletary. And Lane Kiffin is going to abuse that. If I were him, I would abuse that. And I would watch to see what Mike Stoops runs out. If he runs 4-2-5 out, if he runs 3-4 out, and then see how it's lined up. Because if you're looking at the defense from an offensive standpoint, the first thing you're going to key in on is the alignment. Do the defensive players understand leverages? Do they understand scheme? Because that's a good way to figure out whether or not you're going to get 35 dropped on you. Because if guys are lining up out of position, Lane Kiffin is going to have a field day no matter who the starting quarterback is. Because all he's going to have to do is hand the ball to Devin Singletary if you're playing 7 yards off the ball and run to the right or the left and basically make guys come downhill to make a play on him. However, he recognizes the challenges Lincoln Riley's offense poses for his defense, starting with the quarterback, Kyler Murray, a guy Lane Kiffin said is a problem. As a matter of fact, he told the Palm Beach Post that he wished Kyler Murray would have just pulled a Michael Jordan and gone to play baseball. And I don't blame him because he gets it. He understands what kind of a quarterback Kyler Murray is in saying he's exactly the type of guy you want to play against the least. The kind of guy that Baker Mayfield was last year. The kind of guy that you might call a great defense and the play for the offense might not be in rhythm, but his sheer athletic ability allows him to make a football play, make a play with the ball, get out of trouble, and take off and pick up 15 yards or even hit a guy downfield for a big gain. There is no game plan for what happens after the play breaks down. You're just about, can you play football? Can you tackle that guy? And Lane Kiffin knows Kyler Murray has the edge in a one-on-one battle with anybody trying to tackle him. And let's not forget, Kyler Murray has yet to throw an interception as a Sooner. Crap, I just jinxed him. I can edit it out. I said it. Why edit it out? He'll be okay. I didn't mean to jinx him. But I think that underscores the kind of passer that he's become in Lincoln Riley's system. He was 18 of 21 for 359. So it ain't like he's just out there throwing to the other colored jersey. And Kiffin knows what most of us who follow college football know, which is that it's no longer a liability to start a quarterback who is young or hasn't had a lot of experience because the offenses are spread and not really complicated. There used to be good reason for not playing a younger quarterback because they needed more time to grasp the system, to understand what it means to play within it, and to let the playmakers around them make plays. But now with the spread offenses that Riley runs, that the kind of Kiffin runs, you can kind of plug that guy in, make the playbook really small, and still be very, very good. Mike Leach did it with the air raid and it's kind of fanned out from there, where the playbook is really skinny, but you're really, really great at running your offense. And that's the kind of game plan I expect to see Lincoln Riley roll out with Kyler Murray. Do a few things, but do those few things really, really well. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.